Hey people, it's Cantremember, and you might be watching this on as a reply to one of Drift0rs' vid, probably reply to Call of Communism, because this is what it is. That's what it is. It is a reply to his video. And don't mind the gameplay too much. It's Modern Warfare 3, although Black Ops 2 is up and going, and I expect most people want to see that actually, but I have this one saved and I don't have too much Black Ops 2 gameplay for the moment, so I hope you can enjoy this one. Watch it to the end, it's not complete shit. Now I'm kind of talking directly to Drift0rs, so don't get confused. I heard you talk about the flaws of communism and socialism, but at the same time I get the feeling you prefer the basic idea of socialism, since you're not happy with the unfairness coming out of a liberalistic and consuming based community. So the basic idea of this commentary is somewhere, as much as I respect you and love you, you seem a bit, I want to point out that you seem a bit confused, since you both state the problems with communism and socialism, yet you seem to have the valuations of a socialist. So, or at least you seem to be a little more of a socialist than a consuming liberalist. I'm from Sweden, and my country is controlled, or whatever you want to call it, by a mixture of socialism and consuming, and therefore liberalism. This despite of the change of government or governing bloc, and one bloc is with more socialist and environmentally friendly parties, and the other bloc is more with liberalistic parties. And however, the general opinion is being dragged farther and farther to the right, which is something I highly disapprove of. We can freely express anything we want without fearing prosecution. I think you already know that, just that you didn't really point it out clearly in the video you made, so I'm not sure, just saying it quickly. And without trying to sound all too cocky, we have a system that has worked incredibly well for a very long time. And despite the fact that we are starting to get a big number of immigrants coming to our country, and with that we have gotten a strong party built on discontent, like they hate the immigrants and say they should get out of our land because they steal our jobs. They don't say that straight up, they're really sneaky about it, but the bastards in my opinion. But despite this, we managed to keep the economy flowing decently. To this, we can choose to buy pretty much what we want to. There is no restriction because the state has only decided to buy in a certain amount of everything. It's not like that. And that comes because of the mixture of socialism and liberalism. So, and despite this, you might think like, oh, but then you are more of a liberalistic country after all. No, not really, because the unemployment is very low, and the people that aren't employed, they get a decent amount of money to be kept on the track of life and not become criminal or end up on the street. So we have it working like that. We take care of those who doesn't have a work in order to get them back to work. And despite there are a lot of people, not really a lot, like a very, very, very small percentage of people that exploit this system. They choose to not work, even though they can work, just because they can get money freely that way. But that's a really small percentage, and you can't really talk about them as they're ruining our economy, because they're not. They existed during the time of when Sweden was, we had like the best economy in the world, and we had extremely low unemployment. And I'm gonna check that up, I'll be right back. I think it was in the 19 something when we had a socialistic party ruling the country. It was completely socialistic and it worked. The Swedish economy have never worked better than that. I think we were the best economy in the world. We had the highest wealth of all countries, even Qatar, I think. So we were really outgood there, but now things have changed and it is really not like that today. And that is kind of that's kind of due to the fact that we've in general been dragged more to the right. So well, it is as it is. But I've checked up the facts, and it was from 1940 to 1980 we had that really good economy. We called it Välfärdsåren, the years of well, a good state where everybody had a really good time and stuff like that. And there's even read a book about it, and you can see how incredibly high quality the teaching was in the schools. So I think it's a good book, but it's only in Swedish, so it's kind of hard to read for all you people watching this. So to sum up, there are very few flaws in our society as long as it's oh shit, what is wrong with me? As long as it works as it's supposed to do. And today it works, well, mediocrely due to the heavy liberal blue influence. But it's still a lot better than a lot of other countries I know about. So I'm still happy with it as it is today. I definitely don't want it to go more to the right, and well, possibly a little more to the left. We need that definitely. But I live in a good time, and I've never ever experienced any problems with it so far. And my parents, they completely they are the ones that have kind of set me in this track. And although you might think that that is why I am like this, well, possibly, but I am really happy now that I am like that, because I can see the logic behind it. And the logic behind it is that everyone should be treated equally, and that everybody should be given the same opportunities, and well, that it's a fair way of ruling a country. So I really like that my parents were this way. They're so clever and so red thinking, so socialistic, and even a bit communistic in that kind of fashion, in the good fashion, because that's also a very good basic thought, although it rarely works practically. So, and now over to the more critical part. Now can I talk about why I think the socialistic community works really good? Whoa, Moab. But now I'm kind of criticizing you, because I think I can counter the things you state in the end about why you don't like socialism and communism as much as capitalism, why you prefer capitalism. And your first statement is that you have a higher living standard. First of all, you need to question yourself. How high of a living standard do we need to live happily? That was exactly what you ranted about in your Call of Consumerism video. And following those guidelines, the socialistic idea of sharing it equally between people and therefore allowing everyone to have a decent life and therefore be more happy, instead of a few having money for tens of thousands other, then that really makes sense. Then you should be a socialist. If you first rant about that you only get a little bit happier as soon as you reach a certain limit, then you really should be a socialist if you really support that thought. And I'll link. I'll give a link to a video site stating that there are like 400 people, I think, that has about as much money as the as half of America. Yeah, half of the United States. 400 people have wealth equals to half the USA. That is just insane, and that is fully supported by capitalism. Do you support that? A bunch of rich people lives at one place. They control half USA, 400 people, and then a few miles away there are tons of poor people just that barely can live their life. This is a scenario that a capitalistic government or society doesn't have anything against. This is like part of life. This is how it's going to happen, and therefore I really can't support that. No matter how hard it will be to achieve anything else, I will always support another idea. And second, it's about the same statement. Do you really think all people are given that possibility to get that high living standard? Probably not. Yeah, some people have their parents may be alcoholics or drug addicts, and therefore they don't have the same possibility to grow in life and get as much money as normal people, if that's what you want to call it, can get. And immigrants that might be fleeing from war, do they get the same possibilities as a regular white American born by a middle-class family? Does he or she get the same possibility to grow a wealth and have a good life, and as good life as an American? Probably not. And socialism and the society I live in, we give support to newly incoming people, and although the basic idea is freedom for everyone should do what they are able to do, what they want to do, I mean, in capitalistic idea. Still, if that is supposed to work, you will have to give everyone the same possibilities and opportunities to make the best out of life, and capitalism is not like that. So it's kind of saying against yourself. That's the second time, I think, both with the living standard idea and with this thing here, I kind of state that you kind of say against yourself, because I don't think you do want to have those few people boasting a lot of money, and I don't think you want people to have different opportunities in life. But I don't know if you just haven't thought it through. I mean, oh, this sounds so wrong. I mean, you are so educated in this area. I'm 15, well, I'm 16 in 6 days, and you are way older than me. You should be giving me lessons about this, and yet I'm sitting here and telling you that you are wrong. Well, I'm sorry, I don't know, but I just feel this is my idea of things, and I think you were a bit wrong. But I'm going to go on to the next statement of yours, and that was, your next statement is that you have more liberties, you have more freedom to do whatever you want, and well, you have that in Sweden as well. I've already stated that we have a mixture of the two economies, but with a weighing balance amount of socialism. We used to have, at least now it's more liberalistic, because liberalism and capitalism, it eats smaller companies, and it kind of grows and grows, and it's kind of unstoppable. But never mind. So I lost my track completely here. Oh, what was I talking about? Yeah, that's right. So you still have the freedoms to do most things you want. You already mentioned that you can educate yourself in a lot of other ways, and just that gives you a lot more freedom, that you can become pretty much anything you want with a good specialization on it. So once again, I think you kind of say against yourself. It doesn't make sense. You also say that you don't have to be afraid to be thrown in prison and stuff like that for what you think, and we've never had anything like that in Sweden. Or never. We had like several 100 to 300 years ago, but today we have a very democratic and equal society where you can say pretty much anything you want. We even let the racists be in our government, and although a lot of people say against them, we personally, most of us, we hate them. We still let them be in our government. We don't push them out. We don't, because, well, the basic idea is that everyone should be able to say what they think, and that's what we get to do as well. So now that I'm reaching the end, I feel that I've taken down the arguments of why capitalism should be better than communism, and then you've also given some other pros of why socialism is very good. And so the society I live in, it is not 100% socialistic. It's a mixture of both that I've already mentioned, but it's about finding a good balance between the two, with a little more socialism, in my opinion, where you can have a good free choice as a citizen, but at the same time you should be able to live a good life, even though you don't have such a good work, because the people with because you should be able to get some privileges from the state. And how's that fixed? Well, the people with better works that earns more money, they get to pay some extra taxes, and it's called some rich tax that applies once you've reached a certain level of yearly income. And still you get a lot more money than the people earning less, but that extra money you pay it goes to the state, and it ensures that you have a free health care and better education. That better education part can be seen very clearly. I'm going to dip into that very in a few seconds. And well, it ensures a good society. And if you don't have any work at all, you get paid a decent sum of money, so to make sure you don't get criminal and to keep all those kind of things down as well. So I think that's a really good way of managing a society, and I think it's a good way of, I think it should apply to all lands in the world. The only thing is you need to keep the capitalism down, because it has grown over the years, as I've already mentioned several times in the video, and well, that's kind of unstoppable. So you need to come up with some kind of law that stops it growing at a certain point when it has gotten big enough. You kind of need to nerf it a bit, heighten the taxes to prevent it from growing any further. So, and about the school thing, I'm going to school, which is one of the best in the town I live, and I go a pretty good line, natural science, and it's not the best on school. The best one is kind of overkill, really difficult one. It's called International Baccalaureate, and the people that has gone there at the end of their time after the 3 years, universities from all across the world come there to kind of hook those students up that have gone there, because they are so well educated. So these universities want them for their universities. They can be like Yale or insane universities in England or places like that. So the education is really good, and it's ensured by the socialist blend society we have today. So I'm sorry if I offended you by saying that I thought you were a bit confused, but I quite can't see you as a capitalist with the things you point out in your 2 videos, but they were really good, and still I learned a lot from them, and well, I hope you enjoyed this one if you have even watched it, Drift0rs. And if it's just some random dudes watching it, like subscribers on my channel and all subs to Drift0rs, then well, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm kind of done here. It became a lot longer than I expected, and I had to have more than one gameplay in it. But I hope you enjoyed everything. This has been Cantremember. Adios.